looks like we are live. Good afternoon, everyone on the East Coast. Good evening to everyone in Europe. Good morning to everyone on the West Coast. Um, we have a great topic we're going to talk about today. And before we do, I want to go through some housekeeping stuff. Um, First, I want to tell you guys a story. So I was actually on the weekend. I was with it was a friend of mine's birthday, and a friend of mine who is probably watching today, Oleg, came up to me and told me how much he's learning and how much he's enjoying my LinkedIn Live. He's in real estate here in Toronto, and he's trying to start using emailing and CRMs and different tools. And I thought it was just really cool that he's getting a lot of value from our weekly LinkedIn Lives, which I thought was great. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, Oleg. And then we had my brother actually called me yesterday, and a few of his coworkers in Florida have been listening to LinkedIn Lives and really getting a lot of value. So I hope all of you guys are getting value from our LinkedIn Live sessions on a weekly basis. We try and choose different topics on a weekly basis as well. For you guys who don't know me, my name is Sean Finder. I am the CEO of AutoClose, which is an all-in-one sales engagement tool that has both the sales engagement, but also a built-in B2B database with over 30 million B2B prospects that you can search, filter, download, and email all inside one sales tool. So if you're looking to consolidate sales stacks, put everything into one, you can use AutoClose and we connect with your CRM. But we have a great topic today, and this is one I think a lot of you are going to really like. And I think a lot of you guys debate this, and it's cold calling versus cold emailing. Which sales strategy is better? Um, if you like the topic, give me a like in the comments section. But actually, I want you guys to tell me, do you believe cold calling or cold emailing is a better sales strategy? Or what works for your organization now? Is it cold calling or is it cold emailing? I'd love to do the poll just to see what you guys think. Perfect. Looks like we are live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and everything. So we are going to get started. Perfect. So remember, guys, throughout the presentation, let me know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and which strategy you guys like to use. But the dilemma is frequently faced by marketing people and sales professionals. Which sales strategy is better? And to be honest, neither tactic is something that they like doing, and with good reason. Nobody likes to intrude and reach out to people they don't know. But hey, it's important to clench your teeth if you want to grow your business. You need to be doing cold calling or cold emailing, or what we're going to talk about today, a combination of both. So, what is the best answer? People say the combination of both, but I would say nowadays, as sales continues to change on a yearly basis, you need more than even cold calling and cold emailing, which is why I'm going to get more and talk about kind of social touches as well as a third channel. So the synergy of cold calling and cold emailing can be used for breaking the ice and getting on the prospect's radar. That is probably one thing that it really does successful. You'll get on your prospect's radar by using one of those channels. But the big question, is it better to call or email a prospect? Both strategies have their ups and downs. And the key is to identify when it's better to grab a phone and when it's better to hit that send button. Generally speaking, some people like emailing better, mainly because it gives them more time to think everything through and come up with the best way to organize their thoughts. Another plus lies in the fact that there's no gatekeepers that will stop them from reaching a decision maker. When you are doing cold calls, a lot of the time if you want to reach out to a C-level individual, you have to get through to that gatekeeper first, and use some sort of technique to get over there. Actually, I'm gonna tell you one that worked for me. A few years ago, I was trying to get in touch with a Fortune 100 company here in Canada, and what I said when the gatekeeper came on the phone, I go, "Hey, can I speak to Bob?" They're like, "Oh, can I ask who's calling?" It's the CRA, which is for US and Europe is Canadian Revenue Agency. So she goes, "Oh," I'm like, "It's the CRA. I need 5 minutes of his time." So they actually got me on the phone with the CEO of the Fortune 100 company. And when I got on the phone, I said, "Listen, Bob, it's this is a complete cold call, but I knew it was the only way I'd get 5 minutes of your time. And he goes, you have 5 minutes, go. And I actually ended up closing the deal. So, doing some special techniques around your cold calling also works. On the other hand, we can't deny that cold calling is popular despite its poor success rates. I was actually reading a survey the other day that showed the average conversion of a cold call rarely goes beyond 2%. Not to mention that salespeople actually get cold feet whenever they pick up the phone to make that dial. So think about it. At 2%, you got to be making 100 calls to get 2 people to speak to you. Now, those results aren't poor, but it's more the person that's making those calls. If you get, rejected 98 times and you only get 2 calls, it could demoralize a salesperson because they think they're being unsuccessful. And it's something that we go through at our organization as we have SDRs that are always making the calls. So the next thing I want to talk about is when to call. Let's get one thing straight. Emails can be ignored more successfully. I bet that even your email inbox is full of promo and sales emails that you probably haven't even opened. So when you send an email, there is a possibility the recipient will ignore or send it to trash, or it might just end up in the promotions or spam folder. So of course, what can help? A killer subject line can greatly reduce this possibility. But once you send it, you have no idea when you can expect feedback. And also when we talk about, killer subject lines, we have some great blog posts. We talk about, the number of words in the subject line. You want to keep your subject line 3 to 5 words. Why? Because nowadays, most people read their emails over their mobile device. And if you're going to read over a mobile device, you only actually see the 3-4 words. So if you're writing a full sentence as a subject line, it's most likely your prospect's actually not even seeing what you're writing. Let's not also forget that lots of emails are buried in an avalanche of emails that an average business person sends and receives daily. I read the number from a survey the other day that says that 130 emails, now I get about 250 emails a day, but there was an article that said about 130 emails a day is what an average person gets. Now, you want to stand out. So if you're going to be one of 130 and you have the same subject lines as other people, think outside the box. That's how you will be successful. So when you call, you're also more in control of the conversation, and you can adjust it based on the person you're talking to. It's more interactive, and you can use all the aces that you might have up your sleeve. So if you're talking to an introvert versus an extrovert, those are all different things you can use to your advantage when you're on the phone. Over email, not so easy. But we'll talk about buyer's persona and stuff after, because you really need to know your buyer's persona if you also want to be very successful with your emails. A phone call is also a better option when you expect that there's going to be lots of questions. In such cases, real-time communication is more effective and time efficient. So when you want to discuss something complex, just forget about the email. Get on the phone and make the call. And one of my favorites, if you guys aren't following John Barrows, he actually spoke to Doug Landis. I think it was last week or a few weeks ago, and I was listening to the podcast. And the answer was that the phone, but both sales experts agreed that having a well thought out cadence is what makes up a world of a difference. So if you reach out to a prospect through different channels, you'll be more likely to stand out, to be noticed. So basically, you should be everywhere. You should be on Facebook. You should be on LinkedIn. You should be, making calls. Funny enough, our marketing team just started putting some of our images on Pinterest. Like, who would have thought Pinterest would be good for B2B? But you want to get on as many different avenues as possible. Just like, this live I'm doing right now. This is on our Facebook channel. Follow. Our YouTube channel. You should follow. LinkedIn, Instagram, and all these different channels. So all these different audiences today can watch this LinkedIn Live and get some, hopefully, tips on choosing between sales, cold calling, and sales emailing. So the next thing I want to discuss is when to email. It's crucial to emphasize that email marketing generates about $38 an hour in ROI, return on your investment, for every $1 spent, which makes it the most effective marketing method today. Emailing makes it possible to reach thousands of people at the same time, by sending, which is the most important, a personalized message. Now, inside AutoClose, our platform, we do have the 30 million B2B prospect database, but the whole reason why our clients are so successful is that they personalize their outreach. So, for example, if I was going to reach out to, let's just say, a property manager for a building in Texas, what I'd like to do, I might want to put the square foot of the building or something that really personalizes inside that message to that person. Another great thing that our team does is, for example, if we see a list of, the top 50 G2 Crowd CRMs, we'll reach out to those people that own those CRMs and say, hey, congratulations on being named the top 50 CRMs by G2 Crowd. My name is blah, 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 and then go on with your pitch, okay? So, however, before crossing your fingers and waiting for tons of, conversions with email marketing, you should make sure that you've got relevant, accurate, valid, and updated contact information. Otherwise, all your efforts will go to waste, as your carefully crafted email won't even reach its recipients. Now, this is something I actually talked to yesterday. I'm going to be part of a lead generation summit that's going on in January. It's going to be going across Europe. And I talked about valid data, cleaning data. People, you're on LinkedIn. This is on LinkedIn. You see how often people change jobs? Have you ever cleaned your list? You should be cleaning your database at least every quarter because people change jobs every second of every single day. Funny enough, we had one of our clients that reached out to us and they asked for their database of 2,000 contacts to be cleaned. So we also cleaned data, sent it to us, and out of the 2,000 emails he sent us, 14 were valid. So it comes to the point where it's not the amount of time you're spending, contacting or you're going to spend on invalid data. It's actually the time that your salespeople, yourself, your business owners are wasting with the SDRs, the sales professionals at your company using the bad data. Because if you give a sales rep 10 hours of bad data and you're paying them, $20 an hour, well, you've just wasted $200 because you're not even providing the tools to be successful. So in a nutshell, you need to identify your target market, segment it, personalize it, and make sure you have valid contacts. I'm having my Tim Hortons coffee as winter has started here in Toronto, and we had a little bit of a snowstorm yesterday, so I'm just having my coffee. Let's go through some tips for cold emailing. A, use subject lines that get your message across, and don't be deceiving. 2, use a tool that measures your open rates so you can see what's working. A/B testing, all that stuff is something that you get in a sales engagement tool like AutoClose if you really want to, track your results. 3, don't send emails that go on the defensive or are confrontational in any way. 4, use emails as a way to schedule things, remind prospects of things, and lastly, rely on emails to set up calls. Setting up an email sequence is only as good as your email sequence. So you can't just be sending emails. You have to put some calls in there, and you also have to join force with some other channels as well. One thing I want to mention is, something that we did was we found out a lot of our emails were getting great results, and then we had some of our clients that were getting very poor results. And we tried to really analyze, why are these clients getting bad results? And the reason why is they actually had spam words in their content. So we actually now highlight spam words when you're typing it. So if you type the word free or discount, funny enough, millions, great, those are all spam words. If you have the word great and you change it to good, it's no longer a spam word. If you have millions and you just put a capital M, it's no longer a spam word. These are things you need to know to be successful in cold emailing. So, how to join forces. So I've only talked today about email and cold calling. And while I'm going, in the comments, what strategy works for you? I want to do a poll. Is it cold emailing or cold calling? What works for you as a sales professional or what works for you as a business? So we're going to talk about how to join the forces. So I've talked about those two. The third thing I want to talk about is social touches. You need to use more than just cold call and email. If you want to socially touch someone, you can go on LinkedIn, you could endorse them if you've read a nice blog post they've written and they've written something great about, CRM integration, endorsement for CRM integration. If you see they put a post and you comment on it, all these little social touches on their newsfeed in LinkedIn will actually say, Sean Finder liked this. Sean Finder commented on this. Sean Finder shared this. So without actually touching the person, emailing or calling, you've now touched them. It's the greatest thing. So make sure you are including your social touches inside of your sales cadences. If you do a call, try and find one thing you heard on the call that you can use as a subject line. So this is actually an interesting thing I read the other day, and we've tried it. So say, for example, you have a call with somebody, for example, Monday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings beat the Dallas Cowboys, on Monday. I was on the phone with somebody from Minnesota. It was a cold call that I heard, and say I spoke to the person. I said, hey, it was a great game, Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, great game. Okay, I want to introduce you to AutoClose. Then what you can say to the person, listen, I'm going to give you a subject line that says Minnesota Vikings in the subject line. So when you see it, you know it's me, and you know it's the cold email with what AutoClose does. And guess what? When I actually sent that email with Minnesota Vikings in the subject line, he remembered that I told him that I'm going to be cold emailing him. So doing something like that really works well. So let them know you're going to cold call them. Don't just email them and then cold call them. If you speak to them, say, hey, I'm going to send you more information. You're going to receive a cold call from me. Be honest with them. They'll appreciate it more, and they'll open their emails more. And the last thing I want to talk about is, we are all in sales. You have to be persistent. If you're not persistent, you shouldn't be in sales. Cold email, cold call, social touch, do everything you need. We are in Q4. If you want to crush your Q4 with the next 6 weeks, start trying to implement more than just one channel, okay? Cold emailing, cold calling, and include social selling. So once again, I kept this today to about 17 minutes. I wanted to make this as useful for you guys as possible. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And if you disagree with me, let me know. I will answer all the comment section. But more importantly, tell me if cold emailing or cold calling works better for you and why. Because I want to do a poll, and then I'm going to have my team, take the answers from here and build a blog around it. And we'll even tag you in the blog so that, your audience can see. And we can also see, maybe it's industry specific. Maybe it's manufacturing that cold call works, but in, hospitality, it's cold emailing. And we want to build that for you to help you guys in your specific industries. Thank you guys so much. Oh, one more thing I want to add, just some of the notes. We did launch yesterday the largest sales dictionary on the internet. So if you'd like a copy of our sales dictionary, it has over 350 acronyms and terms in sales. So if you're speaking to somebody on the phone and you don't know what they mean, you can just go through the definition. In the comment section, say send me the dictionary, or just say dictionary. Give me something and I'll send you the link. We also have our B2B sales handbook that has 100 pages of the best podcasts to follow, etc. So a lot of good content out there. Let me know in the comments. I'll go through the comments after this and reply to everyone's notes. Once again, I am Sean Finder, the CEO of AutoClose. It was great to talk to you guys today. Hope you guys got a lot out of this session, and I will see you guys all next week. Thank you guys so much.